And students, if you're not talking, if it's not your turn, you need to mute. And same for our congregation.
Okay, I think here comes Cameron.
So everybody, please put yourselves on mute.
And great, with everybody, thank you for muting. As we begin, Linda has prepared a special treat, and we begin with Shir Hamalot, which I will be sharing. Shabbat Shalom, and again, welcome. Incidentally, I learned that today's also National Hat Day. National Hat Day. So all the more reason for those of us with head coverings tonight to have head coverings tonight on National Hat Day. We thank Linda, we thank Kita Vav, we thank soon-to-be UVM freshman Amelia Rosen for tonight's music. We thank you for joining us to welcome Shabbat, and we thank Kita Vav for all of their contributions here tonight. This evening, our sixth grade teacher, Maura Dana Packer, leads us in candlelighting. Candlelighting will be found on page 120.
Sorry. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen, and thank you, Maura Dana. And thank you, Linda. We now turn to page 138 for L'Chadodi.
And Maura, Rebecca Rosen will lead us in the Chadodi.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat Shabbat, penei Shabbat nekabela. Jamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, bishmi'anu el amichad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'hitila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'nelcha, kimi mikorcha bracha, rosh mikedem nesucha, sof maaseh b'machava shabbatila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Bo shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uzolach, Emonei hamsegula, boichala, boichala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Maura Rebecca. We turn to page 144 for the Chatzi Kaddish. The Chatzi Kaddish is being led this evening by Cameron.
Yep. Flipping to the page, sorry. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash Shamei Rabbah, Amen. Bioma divrach yotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'vizman kariv. V'meru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevorach, Le'olam u'me'omaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yipar, V'yirmam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei Kudusha Brichu, Le'olan min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata damiran belma v'meru. Amen.
Thank you, just lovely. We now turn to page 146. We invite those who are able to rise. Sari leads us in the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamdevora. Baruch
Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam vahed.
Baruch Adonai, come before Leolam Va'ed.
Great.
Thank you. I read on the bottom of page 148, Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Baruch atah Adonai hamahari v'aravim.
And on the bottom of page 150, praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 152 and 153, Adam leads us in the Shema.
Shama Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Keep going, Adam.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malachuto Leolam Va'ed.
Amen. Thank you, Adam. Please be seated. On page 154, Eliana leads us in the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol lavavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodeha ve'hayu hadbarim ha'eleh asher Anochi metzaveha hayom al lavavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivta bevetecha uvektecha baderech uvshak ba uvkumeha ukshartam leot al yadeha vehayu letotavot bein eineha uktave tam amezusot betecha usha'arecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hayitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzehi etechem Mitzrael Mitzrahim Lehayot lechem Lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Emet. Thank you so much, Eliana. Now, it says in the Bible, it says, pride goeth before the fall. Pride goes before the fall, and before stumbling, arrogance. We also learn in the Torah portions for these weeks that the obstinate Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Only the Hebrew term for hardened actually means weight. That is, Pharaoh's heart was made heavy swollen with self-importance. You may find it fitting that when Pharaoh's chariots go into the sea to attack the fleeing Israelites, weight is again mentioned as those chariots sink heavily into the mud. That's part of what we celebrate when we sing Mi Chamocha, that we were able to be free as they sank down into the mud. We are taught that peace and blessing come when we don't consider ourselves above everyone else, and when we don't harden our hearts to the pain of others. We sing Mi Chamocha, which is found on page 158. Linda?
Yes, and I want to see a lot of this going on. This is the clapping version. Your power is awesome and mighty. The eternal will reign forever, forever and ever. Mi hamacha ba'eli madonai. Mi kamacha nehedar b'kodesh. No one can heal us. Mocha.
Thank you, thank you. I believe Cameron is going to lead us or introduce for us Vishamru this evening.
So Linda, I'm just gonna do the whole thing once and then repeat the first part. Is that good?
It's what we're gonna do. You can even just do the first part and then we'll sing. Okay. I mean, you don't have to sing if I'm looking forward to this. So but you just the first section.
Okay, that's fine.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asot et Hashabbat l'dorotav be'ritolam b'ni Reuven b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam. 2, 3, 4. Vishamru Torah and I want to know if that's the version they sing in Florida. Yes, no? Yes? Oh, good. Okay.
And we turn to page 164, and I bet they do this in Florida as well. The tefillah with the avot, the imahot. Henry is going to be leading us. It begins page 164. For those who are able, we invite you to rise.
Adonai Sifata Tiftachu Yagli Tehilateha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotinu v'Imateinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Ha'olam, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ekonei Hakol, V'Zacher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gedula Lifnei B'neihem, L'man Shemo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer Mishiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mechakeh Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayeh HaKol B'Rachamim, Somech Noflim V'Rapeh Cholim, U'Matir Asarim, U'Mekayem Emunato, V'Shenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Geburot, Umida Melach, Umachayeh, Melech Mimit, Umachayeh, Umat Miach V'ne'eman Asal Chafayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol.
I mean, thank you. 170, Sari is our leader.
You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen. Thank you. Please be seated. We now turn to page 178 for our prayer for peace, for Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. Ki ata melech hador lekol hashalom. Ki ata melech hador lekol hashalom. Yecha shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam. V'tov b'necha livrei et Archa Yisrael. B'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amecha Tasi Leolam.
Thank you, Linda, and it's so nice to hear again Dennis Gilliam's melody. We should text him so he should know that it's up there on YouTube. At this point, we now pause for silent prayer, page 180 for silent prayer. And I believe that Jacob will be getting us started
Yes.
with Say Shalom. Amen. And thank you, Jacob. We pray on behalf of dear ones within and beyond our congregational family who are ill and in need of healing. We include Chaya Naomi Batsara Bepesach, Imam Ghazi Aga, Robert Dower, Janet and Jim Dias, Alan Elias, Zena Garber, Wendy Hoser, Ed Jantz, Jeff Levy, Leah Linton, Susan Nepoti, Art Phillips, Wes Schoenfuss, Michael Schwartz, Alan Stein, and Michael Walsh. We also pray for all people fighting COVID-19. I now invite you to unmute and say out loud the names of those for whom we likewise pray this Shabbat.
Marge Goldberg.
Go ahead.
Judy Kipperman.
Didn't get it.
Cynthia
Jill.
Rickman, Leonard Stiegel, Eric Goldstein, and Gracie Rosen.
Jill, Joseph Osterhav, Jerry DeFranzo.
I mean,
Charlotte Berman,
Monica and Hannah Schwartz.
Sivamin bat Zvi Hersh Michla, Samuel Asher, and my friend Kelly's daughter Gianna.
Helene Rosenthal.
Nice.
For all, may the Holy One send healing and shelter in protection. Mishaberach will be found on page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We are 6 for 6. We're 6 for 6. Speaking with Abby earlier this week, I was reminded that our 6th grade has recalled Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. for blessing on the Shabbat closest to his national holiday and birthday for the 6th straight year. By remembering his teachings during periods of calm, they become readily available in these troubled times. Everyone on our Zoom, everyone with us now knows we've been through tough days since that last service last January. Seared into our minds are the recent images of the storming of the Capitol by bigots wanting to undermine democracy. Before that came efforts to disenfranchise votes from predominantly African American counties. And before that were the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, amongst others. And all the while, people of color have died in larger proportional numbers from COVID-19. Still, we are not without allies, nor without hope. Dr. King's dream is not dead. Just as many Jews and Jewish leaders participated with Dr. King, so too we will meet the challenges we face as we speak our truths and pursue our goals through nonviolent advocacy. Tonight, Maura Abbey, B'nai Israel's educator, shares a slideshow of the history of a Jewish contribution to the civil rights movement. May our understanding of this heritage, which will be seen by we'll see so many Jewish heroes of that civil rights movement, may that inspire us, as well as the words demonstrated by our Kita Vav, that we are 6 for 6. as we strengthen our determination, even in dark times, to work for liberty and justice for all. Maura, Abby, and Linda.
Linda, I'm going to say a few words before we start the slideshow. This morning, when I opened my religious school emails, I saw this message from reformjudaism.com. For decades, systemic racism and oppressive forces have marginalized and taken the lives of Black and brown people. Following last week's events at the US Capitol building, here are resources for congregations, communities, families, and individuals to work to pursue racial justice. Our movement believes deeply in a commitment to pursue racial justice. At B'nai Israel Religious School, this is indeed a meaningful part of our curriculum. In secular schools, students learn just a little bit about the civil rights movement. At religious school, we have the privilege of sharing this history from a Jewish perspective. This gives our students a meaningful opportunity to feel proud of Jewish role models who risk their safety and their lives to stand up for justice during civil rights. At religious school, we discuss similarities and differences between Jewish slaves in Egypt and Black slaves in America. We talk candidly about how it feels to be discriminated against as Jews and how it might feel to Black people who experience discrimination on a much different level. We reinforce our Jewish values of justice and the dangers of silence. I have a few iconic photos to show you about the civil rights movement and particularly about the Jewish connection to this movement. Thanks to Maura Dana for collecting many of the photos you're going to see. The photos are in random, non-chronological order. I shared them with our grades 6 and 7 on Tuesday during religious school. And even after a full hour of meaningful dialogue, we hadn't even begun to scratch the surface of what these photos represent and how they are still incredibly relevant to our daily lives. I hope these photos help contextualize why B'nai Israel honors the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King every year during Shabbat worship, and why we think it is critically important to teach our children well. Linda?
If I am not for myself, then who will be for me? Who will share me, ask me money, and if only for myself, what am I? Im lo akshavei matai, and if not now, if not now, when? If I am not for myself, then who shall be for me? Who can say I need me money, and if only for myself, what am I? Velo shall be my time, and if not now, if not now, when? For myself, what not now, if not now, when? And if not now, if not now, when?
I'd like to ask Moradena to introduce our class. Our class will read some inspirational quotes. I'm going to call them up, our 6th grade students, one at a time, and they will begin after Dana Mora introduces our section.
In a recent issue of AARP magazine, there was an article called Black Voices Matter. In this article, there was a series of quotes from famous Black people, from former slaves to contemporary politicians, from Uleda Equiano in 1789 to U.S. Congressman John Lewis in 2020. The article begins by explaining that the words of African Americans calling for racial justice resound from generation to generation. It is worth noting that Jewish people also embrace the phrase, from generation to generation. In grade 6 at Burrs, we learn about the important and brave roles that Jews played during the civil rights movement of the 1960s. We learned that Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel linked arms with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights heroes as they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And we learned the truth about Jewish slave owners in the pre-Civil War American South. We talk about similarities and differences between discrimination against Jews and discrimination against Blacks. We dig deeper into the responsibilities that Jews embrace to help repair the world, Tikkun Olam, and fight for social justice. Our grade 6 students are just beginning to learn about this critically important topic. Tonight, they would like to share with you a few of the quotes that we learned about in class.
Jacob?
Black folk, our history and our present being, are a mirror of all the manifold experiences of America. What we want, what we represent, what we endure is what America is. Richard Wright, writer, 1941.
Sari?
I'm not concerned with your liking or disliking me. All I ask is that you respect me as a human being. Jackie Robinson, Major League Baseball player, 1954.
Adam?
I am America, only I am the part you will not recognize, but get used to me. Black confidence, cocky. My name not yours, my religion not yours, my goals not yours. My goals my own, get used to me. Muhammad Ali, activist, heavyweight champion, 1975.
Sari?
What the people want is simple. They want America as good as its promise. Barbara Jordan, U.S. Congresswoman, 1977.
Jacob?
I just want to say, can we all get along? Rodney King, who was beaten by police sparked riots in Los Angeles, 1992.
And Adam?
My fellow Americans, this is a special moment in our history, just as people of all faiths and no faiths, and all backgrounds, creeds and colors band together decades ago to fight our to fight for equality and justice in a peaceful, orderly, non-violent fashion. We must do so again.
Thank you,
John
students.
Lewis, U.S. Congressman and Civil Rights Icon 2020.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you for such beautiful and inspirational reading. We turn to page 586 for the Elenu as we begin our concluding prayers. The Elenu that we'll be chanting is the second paragraph down on the page. For those who are able, we invite you to rise. Linda leads us in the Elenu.
Aleinu l'shabeach lahadon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kege havratzot, v'lo samanu kemishbechot hadaman, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kekol hamonam, V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamachim hakadosh baruch hu.
Please be seated. And now, as a special guest, Amelia Rosen leads us this evening in One Day.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon. I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh.
Thank you, Amelia, and again, congratulations on UVM. At this moment in our service, we now call to mind our own beloved dead. We pray on their behalf. We voice the confidence that they are remembered for blessing. I ask that those in mourning or remembering the anniversary of the death of a loved one, should you wish at home, please rise when their name is mentioned. During Shloshim, we remember Ruth Becker, mother of Joel, mother-in-law of Nancy, Sylvia Myers, mother of Marty, mother-in-law of Suzanne, Howard Engel, husband of the late Sylvia Polikoff Engel, Marilyn Engelman, mother of Larry, mother-in-law of Dea, grandmother of Jacob. We remember the yard sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Jacob Brandvine, Charles Cohen, Louis Decker, Ida Epstein, Ben Ferrer, Sam Golub, Edward Gorman, Annette Hall, Hyman Hockheiser, Madeline Greiner Kaiser, Morris Klein, Jacob Corkin, Patricia Liebeskin, Morris Novak, Pauline K. Novak, Ben Oceans, Charlotte Scher, Marcus Schwartz, Sheila Schwartz, William C. Shepard, Fanny Sperlin, Irving Steiglitz, Molly Rudolph Zeidler, and Aranka Zellinger. Should you have a dear one to add, please unmute your computer and say their name.
Louis Hoser.
Eric Hall.
Ira Goldman.
Judy Roth.
Herman Goldberg.
We also remember the dead this week from COVID-19. And each Shabbat, we also mention 6 names amongst the 6 million murdered in the Holocaust, the Shoah. This week, we remember Esther Eisenberg, Abram Eisenberg, Shana Eisenberg, Berko Eisenstein, Nevach Eisenstein, and Nechama Eisenstein. In remembrance and solidarity, and on behalf of those for whom there is no one but us to say Kaddish, we now invite all to rise if you are able. Our Kaddish prayer will be found on page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalma divra chirute yamlich malchute. B'chayei chon yomei chon u'v'chayei dechol be'Yisrael. Ba'agala u'bizman karib. Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mubarach Le'olam U'Lalmei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtamach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal Shemei Dekudesha B'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Osei Shalom V'mromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru. Amen. Zichronam L'bracha, may their memories be for blessing, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated. This evening, I'm going to screen share our closing hymn, and right after our closing hymn, Lisa Siegel will be doing our announcements. Our closing hymn, or actually, Lisa, why don't we just flip that back to the way we used to do it in here. Let's have the announcements first, then we'll do the closing hymn, and then we'll open things up.
Except I'm not prepared. I have to open the email. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I apologize.
I can probably...
Got it. Sorry. Okay. To take my glasses off. Whew, you caught me off guard. So thank you so much to Linda, Kitava, Van Moradena, Amelia, and Abby for such a moving and inspiring service. Kids, you all did such a great job, and we're all so proud of you. And this really was a very moving service. Tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. will be Torah study. Email Rabbi if you would like to join, and he'll send you the code. Sunday at noon, the UCC Racial Justice in Southbury panel with Rabbi. I'm supposed to copy the link in the chat. I'll do that.
I can do that. I'm about
Okay.
to do that. So there's a number of links coming up into the chat. So
Yes. So there'll be a link for the UCC Racial Justice Southbury panel on Monday at 11 a.m. Waterbury's Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial will be on Zoom. There will be that link. Thursday at 7 p.m. there is a COVID-19 vaccine facts versus misinformation. David Hill and Rabbi Eric will be leading that discussion. For that, you can email benaysisters@gmail.com for the Zoom pre-registration. I guess Rabbi will put that in the chat as well. For those over 75, there will be a link to sign up at the Connecticut government website for the vaccine. Looking ahead, Tu B'Shvat study with Rabbi on January 27th at 7 p.m. Sunday, January 31st at 1 p.m. The New Zionism, A Case of Social Justice, Special in Uniform, presenting Israel and the core values that bind us as one people. Special in Uniform presents how the Israel Defense Forces goes beyond ensuring the security of Israel by likewise providing those who serve with valuable professional and social life skills. Youth with disabilities are given the opportunity to integrate into the IDF and serve in meaningful ways, as is explained in this program. It highlights inclusiveness and respect and care for those who might otherwise be marginalized in society. The hour-long Zoom event is a collaboration of B'nai Israel, the Jewish Federation, the Jewish National Fund, and the Israel Defense Forces. Again, that is on Sunday, January 31st at 1 p.m. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Thank you, Lisa, and I'll be continuing to add announcements into the chat. But first, our wonderful closing, but almost our wonderful closing hymn. Let me just get the right thing up there. Here we are. And now let me screen share again. Here we are.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday.
May God's presence be with you and give you peace. Shabbat Shalom. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody. Let me take us